Hello, friends. Welcome back to the Food Moose Podcast. It's Heather here and
Hattie over here.
woohoo. Well, we are deep in the fall here and we would like to have a little reminisce moment on that time that we went to Paris, also in the fall.
Remember that time?
It was such a great trip.
It really was.
Yeah. So you don't have to go to Paris, but we're figuring that with all the traveling coming up over the holidays, you might want some cool tips from Patty and Heather on how to travel for real. But we're really just going to talk about Paris.
It's kind of a selfish excuse for us to reminisce.
Exactly, because that's just who we are. Sorry, we're real.
Yeah, and it was what? It was 5 years ago already? Has it been that long?
4? No, I think 4.
4? Okay, let's go with 4.
We're going to go with, it was just like yesterday.
It was.
No, it was awesome. So in preparation for our big old trip overseas, we had to do a bunch of things, like figure out where we were going to stay. I thought that was probably one of the most important things because I didn't want to get stuck somewhere that was either too expensive, too small, too far away,
Too scary.
anything. Yeah, nothing in a skeevy neighborhood like, at Paris would have skeevy neighborhoods, whatever.
What?
I know, exactly. So we did Airbnb. And I thought it was actually really wonderful because we could look at locations and then email them to each other and say, okay, this is a place I like. What do you think?
Mm-hmm.
And Airbnb is really nice having lots of photos, reviews from previous guests. You can contact the owner of the place. You can ask them questions. They've pre-answered a lot of questions. Can I bring this? Do I need to bring this? Whatever those kind of questions you are. And then you can find the place on a map so that for Paris, especially, we hadn't been there before. So we wanted to know where the place was that we were going to be staying because is it close to a train line? Do we have to walk really far? Are there cool restaurants nearby? Are we in a very populated area? So I recommend the Airbnb experience. I thought it was really good.
Yeah, and it definitely saved us a ton of money versus staying in a hotel for 10 days because that would have been huge. Plus, we had a kitchen so we could make our own coffee in the morning. And there were a couple nights where we brought food back. We were just exhausted. And as much as we wanted to eat all the Paris food, we stopped and brought food in. So it was nice to have a little space to spread out in and that kind of stuff too. Plus, we had a washing machine, which we'll talk about later.
having laundry in the unit was actually really helpful. Just, for silly stuff like I ran out of underwear or socks or whatever, or you got rained on.
Yeah, the weather was a little rainy when we were there, so we did have to. We had to line dry our stuff. There was no dryer, right?
It was a washer dryer as one machine.
Oh,
and
right.
Figure out how to work it.
Yeah.
I know, we're so American.
Well, yeah. Anyway, we might as well say, so we did run a load of laundry at some point, and I don't remember all the details, but we either ran it too late in the night or too early in the morning, and our neighbors got mad and called the owner because it was too loud, I guess, down where, because we were on the top floor, and so it was too loud. And so, the owner called and sent their representative over to tell us not to do laundry.
Yeah, the English-speaking representative.
Yeah.
Oh, and then our shower leaked too. So the people downstairs were additionally mad when they had water coming in their home.
Well, that wasn't our fault.
That was not our fault. But I was like, wow, we are really like homeowners here, experiencing all the trouble of having your own place.
Yeah.
They were lovely fixing stuff. It was just, it was kind of a pain thinking about it when you just wanted to be on vacation.
Yeah.
But, it makes for memories.
It does. Yeah. So I think one of the biggest things that we need to talk about is the food in Paris.
Oh, the food.
Because it's amazing.
It really, really is. I mean, we would just be walking down the street and I go, oh, look, it's a patisserie. And then we'd have to go buy stuff because it was a different place. We're in a different part of town and we'd see a different kind of a little treat. So we went to many, many, many places for baked goods, and they were delicious.
But we tried new things too. Like the first night we were there, we went on a dinner cruise along the Seine, and it was amazing because it was nighttime and the Eiffel Tower was lit up and they were doing like a light show. We had foie gras and we had champagne and we had, I don't even remember, we had some kind of delicious meat with some kind of red wine sauce on it, which
was all so
was so
good.
good. It was so, so good. Good gravy. We ate a lot of foie gras while we were there. We ate, what else did we eat? We ate some croissants, of course.
A lot of
And
them.
we're going to talk about me eating croissants in a second, but we had some croque monsieurs
Oh, so
and
yummy.
madame. And the
Yes.
difference is the egg.
Yes.
Okay.
One is
So one
ham and
has,
cheese and one's ham and cheese and egg.
yeah.
I don't know why the lady gets the egg. Maybe because
She
ladies
has,
have eggs.
that's what I was going to say.
I don't know. The French
that's
are
a
kind
reason.
of literal.
We had crepes with Nutella. We had
Oh,
so many macarons. Oh my goodness. Big ones, little
yes.
ones. We
All the flavors.
had lots of yummy tea. What else did we? I mean, lots of wine.
Yes. And just chocolates. I mean, we did that
Yeah.
chocolate tour.
Oh yeah,
We
we did.
walked all around it. We went to 5 different
Mm-hmm.
chocolate shops.
Chocolatiers.
Yeah, it was just phenomenal.
And everything was so beautiful.
Yeah, like you don't go there and, think about eating a bag of Hershey bars, You have one piece of chocolate and it's just to be savored and
Mhm.
it's just beautiful and lovely.
And if you are trying to kick your Hershey bar habit, that's the way to go because you can't go back because Hershey just tastes, I mean, sorry,
I
Hershey,
know.
but it's just
They're
not good anymore.
they're too sweet.
Yeah.
American
Yeah.
chocolate I think is overly sugared,
Yeah.
whereas the European, the Belgian, it's got more of the chocolate flavor. So
Yeah.
it's more interesting.
I don't know if it's the roasting or the sourcing, but yeah, it's
Less
just,
sugar.
yeah, less sugar, not so much milk. Yeah. It was all so, so yummy. But yeah, so going back, yes,
Yes, miss, I ate all the croissants,
I did eat all
the
the croissants.
croissants.
What's funny is when we got there in the morning time and we were tired. So we took a little nap so that we could be refreshed. But then we went out and I decided, because I had heard that European wheat is not as, we'll say, harsh on the digestive system and maybe doesn't cause as many of the symptoms of gluten intolerance that we get here. So I I took a big step on day one, minute one, by eating a croissant with my cafe latte.
Cafe au lait.
Oh, that's what it was. You're right. Pleased to announce that while there was some reaction, definitely not any of the stuff that I experienced here. Didn't have the insomnia, didn't break out. There were no manic episodes, just a smidge on the digestive, but really not bad. And I did bring some of the pills, the glutenese, whatever those are, to help me. And those
The one
actually,
from Dr. Tom O'Brien.
no, I got these. I'm not sure where, but they helped take the sting out as well. So really it was fairly limited reaction and I took full advantage. I mean, I think I had a croissant every day and then we
Yeah,
definitely,
we ate all the things. I mean,
yeah.
we ate bread at the restaurants. You have
Mhm.
to ask for butter though. I still don't understand that.
Yeah, that's
Because French butter is lovely.
very
So
salty. It's good.
yeah, so we ate all the bread. We had a croissant every morning. We had all the desserts. We had the macaroons, which are mostly almond, but who
Mhm.
knows what else is in there. But yeah, it was a really easy eating vacation.
Mhm. I didn't
And
have to eat so much.
thankfully neither of us are celiac, so we didn't have that to
Yeah.
contend with. But there were also a lot of places that were very cognizant of different intolerances, so they could help you
Yeah.
if you could speak a little bit of French or if you're lucky enough that they spoke English.
A lot of people did speak English. Oh, the other thing was, you hear about all the people being nasty, the Parisians being nasty to Americans, but we did not find that anywhere, did we? I mean,
They
everywhere
were
we went, they were
lovely.
so lovely. We were looking at our phones and we looked lost, which we did a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So many people would stop and help us and they spoke English. A lot of them did. And they would say, where are you trying to go? And nobody gave us fake directions, which was nice.
No, and people were really helpful too when we were trying to figure out the metro and how to
Oh
buy
yeah.
passes and which direction we had to go and when would we have to switch trains. People were so helpful. And
Yeah.
oh, do you remember that one lady on the bus and she was trying to tell us to, watch your bags on the
Oh
bus,
yeah.
on the train, whenever it's really crowded, that's when pickpockets are prevalent. So, just people trying to be helpful, and it was lovely.
Yeah. We had a great experience with the locals, and we lived, I'll say lived because it felt like
We
that while
did.
we were there, next to the Odeon Theater,
Hmm.
in the Odeon district, and it was wonderful. Lots of local business people, lots of restaurants. Of course, the theater we could probably see if we craned our neck out the window a little bit,
Hmm.
but it was just a few steps away. It was wonderful.
Yeah. So thank you for reminiscing with me, P. But
I
let's
know.
bring this back to helpful tips for our friends.
Yes. Sorry.
So when you're going to a locale for a trip, check the weather. What are you going to need? In Paris, we needed to make sure we had walking type shoes, but we didn't want to wear gym shoes because it was so American.
Mm,
We also needed trench coats, scarves, hats, because there were days where it was really cold,
yeah.
but then there were other days where it was rainy. So we, made sure to have an umbrella and things like that. So you want to prepare yourself as much as you can so that when you get there, you're not scrambling to, go to the convenience store to buy random things, or,
Mhm.
running out saying, I have to go find a coat place or whatever that is. A little bit of planning does make your life a lot easier. And then if you do need to buy something, it's not so dramatic because you have a lot of the other things you needed.
But keeping in mind also, you don't want to bring all the things when you travel. So we brought stuff that could do double duty. Obviously, trench coat was both warm and a raincoat. So we didn't have to
Hmm.
do, and then we doubled up on t-shirts, obviously, and then we did laundry and that kind of stuff. Because especially in Europe, it's not really made for your roller bags so that you can load up. I mean, those, not only is it a lot of cobblestones, and I found a lot of the escalators in the metro didn't work, so you were ending up climbing them. So if you had a heavy suitcase, you were kind of SOL. And then a lot of the, what do you call them? Those little gateways, the turnstiles to get through
Oh, yeah,
things
to get in and out of
were not
places.
very wide. So definitely not made for disabled people in wheelchairs, that kind of stuff. But yeah, if you had a big suitcase, you were scrambling trying to figure out how to get it through before the little gates closed on you.
Well, and
Um,
the other part too is we didn't want to take a taxi from the airport because we knew it would be quite expensive. But even if we had gotten a taxi, if we had two full size suitcases, well, the taxi might not be big enough to fit them.
yeah.
So you might have that on your lap.
For an hour. That's
Yeah,
how
I mean,
far away the airport is.
the European cars are tinier than, my big old mommy van.
For sure. And then some other fun, well, some practical stuff too, is we split up duties. So I was in charge of all the pictures. So I had the camera, I was the photog of the group, and Heather was the navigator. So she arranged.
Maybe not the best idea.
Well, you did good. You did very well.
But it was
Um,
also the planning too.
yeah.
We planned the whole trip so that, we knew we had this number of days, and we really wanted to see all the things. I mean, if we had a shorter list, it might have been different. So we tried to plan each day encompassing as much stuff in a particular area so that we weren't jumping back and forth and saying, okay, well, we've got to go here, and then we'll take the train here, and we'll take the bus here, because you're losing a lot of time in travel. Where if you could just say, okay, we're going to spend the whole day in this area, and these are the 8 things we want to do, it just made for a more eventful day for us, more meaty, less back and forth, so less chaos.
Yeah, definitely less chaos. I would agree. And then the other thing we did as we planned those days, we only ever scheduled one thing per day where we had to be there at a certain time so that the rest of the day could kind of be loosey goosey. And as we had time, or as things came up, we could do whatever we wanted. So each day there was one scheduled thing, and then the rest of the things were just kind of ad hoc. And I think
Right,
that
because
helped a
we
lot.
didn't know how many lines we'd have to wait in, or
Right.
if something was busy on a particular day, or
Mhm.
and check that things are open,
Yeah.
because it's not just that, everything's open anytime you want to go.
Yeah, definitely in Europe too. Stuff closes on Sundays. Like lots of things close on Sundays.
Yes.
And then certain times of the year, different countries have not a mandatory, but a basically where the whole country shuts down for a month or 3 weeks or whatever.
Yeah, August in Europe
Mhm.
is hard to do things as a tourist.
But so well, and specifically if you're going to go to Paris, the what was that? The art card, the museum card, the
Mm-hmm. The city museum. Is that
city
what it was?
museum
No.
pass.
Yeah.
That thing was amazing. We bought it the first day we were there. I think we even bought it when we were still in the airport after we had just landed.
Yeah.
And that gets you into almost all, and maybe not all, but almost all of the museums. So, and I think we even got like expedited entry. So we didn't have to wait in many lines.
Right. The only thing with that is we didn't buy it for the entire trip. We only bought it for a certain number of days because it's
Mhm.
expensive. I mean, you buy it by the day. So buying it for 3 days versus 8 days, it's quite a difference of
Yeah.
cost. So we bought it for just a certain number of days, and then we made those days our museum days. So we traveled to those particular areas where the museums were, so we could just see them all.
hmm So again, it comes down to planning. And Heather did a lot of research so that she knew where stuff was, in what neighborhoods, what was open on what days. And then we used an app called, what was it? Ullman City to
Allman
Go.
cities to go. Yeah.
And what's good about that is it's made to work off a GPS, not cellular. So we didn't have to use international minutes or anything, data plans or anything like that while we were there. But you do have to plan it all out before you turn off your service so that you know where you're heading. But then once you're heading there, it can tell you you're going the wrong way because it's tracking you on GPS. So that
Right.
was super handy.
You know what I did is I made each day a
hmm
separate, I don't know, like a separate bookmark.
Itinerary. Yeah.
Right. So then we knew on Monday we were going to do these 5 things, and I'd start them on the map so you could all see where they were. And then we would plot out how are we going to get to the first place and how are we going to get back. And, so it made it, and maybe it's too organized for a lot of people,
Yeah.
but going to a place that we had never been before, where there was a lot of stuff we wanted to do, I thought that was the way to go for us. I mean, you could have written it all down in a book and just brought your map. I mean, you can do it kind of any way you want. I just thought it would be unobtrusive to have it on the phone because everyone's always looking at their phone anyway. So we wouldn't stand out like sore thumbs as the touristy people. And having the homework done ahead of time, you're also seen by the local people as putting in effort.
hmm
So they're going to be much more helpful when you say, I'm trying to go to this restaurant and it's at this cross street in this area of town. They go, oh, I can help you find that. Whereas if you just go, I'm just trying to find the Louvre. I don't know where the Louvre is. I hear they got this painting called the Mona. You look like an idiot. Do your homework so that you can really make it a seamless, smooth trip.
It definitely made it less chaotic when we were actually there to know, okay, tomorrow we're going to be in this area of town. And oh, yeah, these are all the things. It made it exciting, but it just made it so less chaotic and so less stressful. So a little planning goes a long way, bottom line.
For sure. It was more than a little planning, but I think it
It
went
was
a
a
really long way.
Well, and it's different if you're going to a city, I don't know, that you're not spending thousands of dollars getting there and it's a once in a lifetime thing versus something that you're going to do. You might do 3 or 4 times in your life. So yeah, we put a whole lot more effort into going to Paris than we did into, I don't know,
Portland
for the weekend. Right.
Portland,
So,
we found these are the top 8 places we want to eat. That
right.
was it. Other than that, we were totally open.
What else do we want to talk about?
So here was one of the really fun things that I thought about going to Paris, or really kind of going anywhere. I like to see the big stuff. I like to see the things everyone talks about, just to feel it, to be there, to know I experienced it too. But then I also like to do the quirky stuff, the weird things. Like in Paris, we went to the catacombs, which it's kind of spooky and weird. I mean, just to see just skulls for miles, but
Underground.
yeah, but I mean, cool and quirky and,
And we've known several people that have gone to Paris and never did that because they either didn't know about it or they thought it was too weird or whatever. So it's just kind of one of those things where, oh no, we did that. But
yeah, Google what are weird and quirky things to do in whatever location you're going to. I mean, just kind of see what comes up. Pick something fun. It breaks up all the museums.
we did see a lot of art, which
We
in
saw
that
art.
we saw all the art. But in that vein too, if there's lots of things that you want to do, but maybe some part of your group doesn't want to do those exact things, it's okay to split up. I mean, think safety first. Obviously, you don't want anybody roaming a foreign
Everyone
city
has
by
an exit
themselves.
buddy.
It's okay. You don't all have to do all the things together, especially if it's a long trip. Maybe you need a little time apart.
Yeah, break up. Go do something on your own or go do something with a friend and then say, okay, well, I'll meet for lunch.
Right. Or if you're tired, go take a nap. Sometimes that's hard for me to be like, oh my God, but I need to see all the things. I can't take a nap because then I'll miss blah, 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 blah. You've got to rationalize with, okay, but then if I'm exhausted and cranky later, then that's not fun for anybody either. So,
No, we hate that.
but that's where wine comes in.
Yes. Can I please just say the wine that you get just in an open carafe in France where they say, oh, it's just the red table wine is so freaking good.
It's so good.
Like, whereas here you would get a table wine and you go, ugh.
It's a
I
little
think this is going to burn a hole in my esophagus.
Yeah. And we had some great staff waiting on us at the restaurants that would recommend things because, we'd look maybe deer in the headlights about what to try. So we tried some amazing things and we tried frog legs one day.
We did.
Yeah, those were interesting.
It tasted like eating a lake. I don't need to eat them again, but they were fun that one time.
I do. Yeah. No, I agree. I don't think I need to have them again, but glad I can say I tried them because I do like to try new things.
And the escargot was delicious.
The carpaccio.
Oh, the duck liver. What was that?
The pate.
Oh, yummo.
Yeah. I think we ate our weight in pate.
Like, could I just get a spoon?
Yeah. I ended up bringing a couple cans home and it was good. It's
not the same.
It's not the same, but it was still very good.
So really, I think our overarching philosophy on travel is try all the things, do all the things, eat all the things, but also know your limitations.
Mm-hmm.
Whether that's a food intolerance or an exhaustion level or just a general crabbiness, you have to know when you hit the wall because you don't want to wreck anyone else's vacation. I mean, if you're traveling alone, do whatever the hell you want. But right, if you're traveling with someone, you got to think of the group as well. But do it all.
Exactly. Yeah. Even when I travel for work and I go to a new city, I try and do that. At least one thing that's not work related. I try it, whether that's a restaurant by myself or something that the city's known for, but just to have some memories, right?
And even when we travel for softball, which we do all summer,
quite a bit.
Every time. So we travel, one of my girls' teams, there's a family that is very similar to us. We really jive very well. And so Randy will always look ahead and say, okay, I've got some places. And so he's plotting out some, local places, some divey places that we could go eat or go visit. Because, when you go to middle America softball land, you're going to see every chain you've ever known. And it's boring. So we do like to look ahead and see what's going on, what we could find that's off the beaten track. That's how I like to roll.
Mm-hmm. I like it. I'm with you.
All right.
And I think you just kind of did our ditch and switch.
Oh, I did. Look at me. I am jumping all over it. So ditch and switch. Don't be a stinking fuddy-duddy. Stick in the mud. Go do the things. When in Rome, when in Paris, when in freaking Minnesota, do the things, eat the things, and just be real.
Sweet.
So, ladies and gents, please check us out at all the places, Insta, Facebook, Food Moose, website, all the cool places. Just do all the things because we're there on all the formats. And write us a review because you love us, because we rock, and go listen to all the podcasts because, again, we totally rock. Go forth, be real, moose out.